Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP. This is episode 11 of our Interplanetary Voyage Season 2. And we have a new recruit, Zaidin Kerman, who is an engineer. We are adding him to our roster together with John Kerman that we have added a couple of episodes before. And few just adjustments. In the previous episode we have launched this utility return pod ship that will be returning basically Kerbals that arrive from Duna. And I just wanted to have it fixed so that the standard return ship does not feature also an experiment for the eccentric quarks, because it doesn't make sense. We don't want to be conducting experimental for the eccentric quarks every time we want to return some Kerbals. Right. Okay. So, with that thing out of the way, I'm just now balancing out the RCS thrusters and making sure that we have also the return chutes and everything on the pod that was previously tucked onto the experiment. So just some finer balancing together with the RCS build aid mod. Okay, I'm pretty happy the way return pod capsule looks, more or less. And I will for sure be launching one more of these just in case. Okay, well, some fiddling still required. Oh, and there we have it. Awesome. Oh, come on, stop fiddling. Note to myself, stop fiddling. Okay, I'm just making sure that I set the chutes, and yeah, it is a little bit complaining, but then again we are not returning the whole launcher anyway, so that will be fine. Okay, some more fiddly around. Okay, let's return the abort system and return the launch stack. I think that we can check our staging. I think that's good enough. And I think we're gonna be building one more of these, because last time we launched it and it went pretty fine, and it is remote tech capable, meaning that it can go all the way up to the station and just basically stand there. Okay. Now, let us once again save and press build, because I won't be now launch testing it, it's already been tested. Another thing that we want to start building, or actually build in our save, is the, well, not the SSTA, but it's an SSTI Horus that we have built in the previous episode of Kerbal Engineering, how to build an SSTI. And at this, here I called it SSTA for some reason, but it's not single stage to anywhere, it's single stage to interplanetary. So that's the difference. So, with those two guys in the queue, I think it's time that we start focusing on our Kerbal to Jool window. And as you remember, we had one supply ship that was bound for Jool. So we have to make sure that that one is properly sent off at the launch window. So, because Kerbal to Jool is the next thing to happen. So, yeah. Okay then. Let us just accelerate a little bit closer, because I don't want to be waiting 4 days while having the ship in low orbit, because as you know, then the time acceleration is much slower, and 1 hour to the Kerbal to Jool window. Well, or 1.5 hours roughly. So that's good enough. Now we will be switching to the Jool Supplies Ship, and we will be flying it. As you know, our Jool Supplies Ship uses nuclear reactor, and it uses lithium fuel and magnetoplasmodynamic engines. Yay! Got that one once again without hicking up. So, yes. Now let's read the parameters that I've put in from the transfer window planner. Awesome mod, love it. also love the Kerbal alarm clock because it helps me schedule my launches. Well, some of the guys you ask me, how do I plan what comes next? And I have a rough idea what I want to do. For example, another component of the station sent to Duna, or another supply ship sent to the Jool, because I will be sending some more missions there. But it is also, when those things happen, is driven a little bit by Kerbal alarm clock and its transfer windows. So yeah, it's a little bit fine balance between the two. For the easier stuff that just goes into orbit, like our orbital station that we have been building in the past couple of episodes of Kerbal Engineering, that we will be launching here within this save. I only don't know if I should maybe put it accelerated or if I should just hyper edit the damn thing into the orbit, because I already shown how to launch it and everything, and I'm doing that in another KSP instance, which is a little bit clearer of all the junk that I am putting currently into the orbit, etc. So let me know what you think, guys. Should I just hyper edit the station into the orbit, or should I launch it once again, but maybe, like what I do typically, quad screens, accelerated, so that you can still see the components being launched? I'm actually leaning towards that option maybe, but yeah. Anyway, our maneuver node is set up after some fiddling, 2,197 meters per second, which I guess is good enough. And once again, since we are using remote tech, we have the flight computer, which I very much like for this longer burns because they help me keep my sanity. So yes. Okay, and let's decouple from the main booster. Enable the engine. The reactor is already online, so it's only a matter of thrusting a little bit just to see. We have total of 9,200 delta V, which is more than enough, and then I've queued the execution of the planned maneuver, which, guys, is awesome because the burn is gonna take 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and given the fact that, well, there's only so much time that I can spend sitting 7 minutes while the burn lasts, it's actually a smarter choice for me and go and get some hot beverage like coffee so that I can continue yapping as I'm doing at this moment. Okay, back to the matters at hand. Signal delay 19 minutes and, well, not signal delay, but execution of the planned maneuver delay. And once again, our window plan has popped up, but we already have the queued launch, so we don't need to care. Perfect, and let us just close off view, and we have a burn coming within 1 minute. And here we go, and getting ready, set, burn. I believe I already mentioned how I really like how this burn looks like when they are burning with magnetoplasma-dynamic engines, and because it gives this really nice red glow to it. So yeah. Okay, I guess you guys are seeing this in, I think, 2 to 3 times acceleration, so that basically you don't flip like I almost did while waiting for this thing to finish. So we have radiators and we are on the dark side, so our solar panels do actually jack, well, I'm not gonna say the S word. So yeah, burning 1,500 meters per second. (1,300 meters per second). And yes, the KSP music does go faster because if I were to just cut away the music and try that the music plays correctly, it would take me a lot more time to produce a single episode for you guys, so I wouldn't be able to keep it up on like a weekly pace or somewhat around that, or at least I wouldn't be able to push the amount of content that I'm currently pushing. So anyway, enjoying the long burn while sipping coffee, of course. $500 m/s to go, and roughly, I believe, I can't barely see my screen, but I believe it's 80 seconds. Or roughly 50 seconds if it's to be trusted with the flight computer, but I can always stop it dead in its tracks if it comes to be like that. Okay. Burning and whoopsie. Okay, great. Time to check up on what we just did. So, turning on the SAS, and let's just orient the craft somewhat nicer so that we can actually see it. Yep, there we go. Screenshot opportunity, and let's just enjoy while we leave the Kerbin's sphere of influence. I mean, the whole purpose of the Jool Supplies is, as you remember, we had, I guess, Rem-T, who ran out of supplies on the way back home, so scientists have been working tirelessly to figure out new ways of getting Kerbals around, and there are a couple of projects that are ongoing. Some of them tied to making the food supplies last longer, and others tied to making the whole trip run shorter. So yes. Okay, leaving Kerbin's sphere of influence shortly. And just checking my maneuver. Well, it's not the world's best. I might need to tweak it a little bit. Okay, a little bit down. I mean, the correction burn, it's really not a big one, but still we might want to actually tackle this. Take the node prograde, and then I guess we can always accelerate until the maneuver node, because nothing else will be happening except our SSTI will be built, which I guess is great. Okay, because our SSTI's target would be Duna, once again. As you remember, our shuttle Voyager is returning from Duna, and I want to be sending other people to Duna, and since the shuttles have to be always refueled in space, I will need to build also the refueling station, which is the point of my base series. And also I will need to devise a craft that could actually basically take off from Kerbin, go to Duna, resupply, and come back and land. So this is the whole purpose behind the Horus. Okay. Now, since Horus has been designed, it's time to send our lander. And this, guys, has been a long time coming, because right now our Kerbin to Duna window is approaching. And since our window to Duna is approaching, this craft, the Duna lander, is the rover and a lander that we have designed in our episode of Kerbal Engineering. I will put the link in this card that you will see right about now, and also on the end screen. So, yes, it is at Launchpad, great, which means we can actually get ready to launch it. Oh, come on, I'm not sending that many people. I think I will send 2 Kerbals. And the first Kerbal that I intend to send will of course be John Kerman, our pilot, I guess. Just checking, and I've noticed that I have REM-T available, which is once again strange, and ELU. Yeah, I have to fix that. Sorry. Anyway, looking at our roster, we want to be sending one pilot and I guess one engineer, perhaps? So, let's think about John Kerman, and we said one more. Hold on. No. John Kerman, you are going in the pilot seat because you are piloting this bad boy. And then Zaydin Kerman, you will be an engineer that will be responsible for our payload, which is Rover, of course. Okay, so John and Zaydin. You feel confident? I certainly do. Mostly because I've already launch tested this vehicle, and yes. So, nice takeoff. Our rocket cleared the tower with no issues whatsoever. And we are coming up on the 2000 meter mark, which for me is usually a place where I start taking the gravity turn. Angling to prograde, we will be keeping slightly steeper ascent due to our rocket boosters, but nevertheless, I mean, the rocket is a little bit longer-ish. But still, it's in the doable area. Okay. Let's see. Yes, we still have more than enough fuel in our boosting tanks, which are the liquid fuel boosting tanks, powering also 4 Rhino engines. And I think the best place to dispose of these boosters is once we are actually in the space. So, because they're on suborbital trajectory, they will fall down anyway. So let us set up the circularization burn. Okay, perfect. Well, at least this rocket in its entirety is a little bit heftier to actually persuade to start turning. However, we have enough SAS authority to be able to do so, and our circularization burn will be roughly 1,800, I guess, so yeah. Making sure that we point the rocket prograde. And we still have 173 delta V in our kind of boosting stack, so we will make sure that we use it. Approaching our burn. And I've kicked the gas because we are detaching these boosters, which means our thrust to weight does go down a little bit, so yes. Taking the mandatory screenshot. Our life support should be more than adequate. However, this is the first craft where we will be actually testing that our supplies last longer. It has a new and experimental technology vital for the survival of Kerbals on long voyages, which is one freaking huge fridge. So, same as the supplies, lasts longer, food lasts longer when you put it in the fridge. Apparently, so do the Kerbals. So, scientists on the Kerbal have come up with this suggestion when they were taking some snack out of the refrigerator and said, hey, if we could refrigerate the snacks, Could we also refrigerate our Kerbonauts? Very cool. And that's how we got to use the deep freeze. Okay. That being said, John, you will still be piloting the craft all the way to Duna. However, Zayden, you I don't need at the moment. You will become a very essential member of my crew once we reach Duna. However, for the time being, you will be a test subject for our deep freeze technology. And I can see that you are already excited by the way that you are getting into the capsule, which means basically not at all. But yeah. This is guys, by the way, for the first time that I'm actually playing with deep freeze. I have never before used it. Ever. So, I hope I have met the requirements when it comes to freezing Kerbals. Otherwise, this experiment will go very badly for our engineer Zayden over here. So, Zayden, are you ready? Well, yeah, of course it feels a little bit coldish. That's kind of the point, you know? You're in a fridge. So, by the way, once we press deep freeze, make sure that you smile. What do I mean by deep freeze? I guess nobody told him that he is going to Duna like a popsicle. Well, surprise. Sorry, Zayden. Okay, it seems that we have successfully frozen Zayden. We just have to sure to defrost him before the expiration date. Okay. Cool when it comes to alarms and all that jazz. I mean, this is kind of really cool trick, but my main kind of point for freezing them is to see if our supplies will last longer. And if I recall correctly, our supplies should have lasted, I think, 10 years or something. So let's once again check. Oh, it's now 20 years. Great. So yes, this technology works. Success. Great. Onwards. So we still have some things to add, and I'm planning to actually do a tiny circularization correction because we want our orbit to be as circular as possible. So John, please make sure that you fix. It's only a tiny 20 meters per second burn, but yeah, you are my go-to guy when it comes to perfection in terms of getting this craft all the way up to Duna. So, pointing the rocket in the right direction. Usually that's the good step 1. And then step 2 would be to press the ignition or the throttle button. Or lever, whatever, they use in these technology rockets. Okay. So, 20.2 meters per second. Okay. Let's delete the warning and... Oh, while we are at it, we might as well open the solar panels, because that will make this craft look even cooler. Okay, accelerating until our burn. It's a tiny burn, so even if we miss by a little, it won't do us much harm. Node in 19 seconds. I think this would be a much cooler angle to look from. And 2, 1, and go. And that's it. Great. Screenshot. For posterity reasons, at least. And great. So, we have one frozen Kerbal traveling and one, the actual one. And the next thing that we need to do is with our shuttle, which is the Voyager, I want to make sure that I do this tiny correction when it comes to at the ascending node, and just to make sure that we will be arriving in the orbit around Kerbal and be able to dock with the space station right away. Okay, I mean, right now we will be docking to the orbital lab, obviously, because we don't have the refueling station in the orbit yet. But that is something that will change over time. Okay, so 28 meters per second, which will be happening in 10 days. Since nothing else is happening before that, we might as well accelerate up to that point. So, just want to make sure that... Oh, by the way, this shuttles look really cool. I really like their design. I mean, a little bit futuristic, yeah. Okay. Enough mumbling. So, time acceleration, and a pretty hefty one at that, 7 days. Come on. Oh yes, the launch pad reconditioning, I almost forgot about that one. And we are rushing to our maneuver node. 3 more minutes, delete on close, perfect. Three, 2, 1, and burn. Yep. And that's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is how we do things around here. Okay. With that thing being said, let me just quickly check. Okay, and we have a new maneuver node that we can put somewhere later on. I'm just trying to figure out for a tiny correction burn, because I think we overdid it by a little. Just a smidge. What does it mean? That if we don't correct it, we will be definitely going to Kerbal. Nose first, right in the mud. So yes, I do want to make some tiny corrections, so yes. And those will be 41 meters per second, so even bigger than our burn. Oh joy. But anyway, guys, we are coming on the 28-ish minute mark, so the moment we actually fix this one, I will be calling this for the episode. So please, you know what to do. Like if you like, it's subscribe for more KSP goodness that is coming soon. And until the next episode, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.